mention my name, they try to make an excuse this and this and that. Okay, I have a belt now. I went over there and got the belt. So what's the excuse now? I am the boogeyman. I am the boogeyman.
What is next to Terry?
I am the boogeyman. I am the boogeyman. And I'm still calling it. I have a belt and I'm still calling these dudes out. I should have been world champion having to call these dudes out.
Let's see something. Now you see now, you done fucked up,
This is what I'm saying.
I read it all.
This is what I'm saying. This is what I read it all too. Terrence Crawford, wait till he get a belt. Yeah. He ain't did nothing in the welterweight to this. When he get a belt, you want to go over there. Keith Thurman want to go over there, and now y'all want to say, "Oh, I ain't fought nobody," but I got a belt now, so okay.
I see what I'm saying. No, I thought there was something you're saying. You done fucked up now. You're not.
Okay, Sharon Porter got a belt too. So now
Sharon Porter got a belt too. Sharon Porter. So why am I go to easy road and knock Sharon Porter out? Why wouldn't I?
You a smart man, but not that smart.
I should have been world champion having to call these dudes out. I am the boogeyman. I am the boogeyman.
What is next to Terry?
I am the boogeyman. I am the boogeyman.
Let's see something. Now you see now, you done fucked up,
You can't be the boogeyman I'm chasing
I'm the dog of the division. I'm the boogeyman.
You can't be the boogeyman if I'm chasing
that guy.
you. I'm looking for you, Errol. Where you at? I'm in the ocean. You say you the big fish. I'm looking for you. Where your ass at? Oh, whole ass. Well, you got a lot of room to hide in this motherfucker. I don't know if I can find you in the ocean. See, the ocean big than a motherfucker, man. We ain't gonna be able to find your punk ass out here.
Yeah, look at it. It comes down, just like Bob said. It's the fighters. It's always the fighters. When they ask for something, or it's a fight that can be made, we're gonna go do it. We've worked with Top Rank, many times in the past, and it seems like the relationships just been getting better and better. And I'm looking forward to tonight. It's been a great event, great promotion, and obviously November 20th, we're going right back into it again. So it's worked very well together. Thank you.
Hold up. Time out. Can you reverse what you just said a few minutes ago? It's the what? The fighters that makes the fight, that want the fight, you go get the fight.
That's right. Now I know where you're going to go with this.
You can't be the boogeyman I'm
the dog of the division. I'm the boogeyman.
You can't be the boogeyman if I'm chasing
that guy.
you.
Run, bitch! Run!
Yo, it was all good just a week ago. Yes, a couple years ago, it was all good for the truth, Mr. Errol Spence Jr., formerly known as Man Down. It ain't been Man Down in a long time. But, yeah, Man Down, Smoke Season, used to be called Strap Season. But we're not going to get into what has happened in the past, what's happened over the last 4 or 5 years. We're not going to get into none of that. We want to talk about now and moving forward. See, people like to always move the goalposts. We're not going to talk about how many times the goalposts have been moved. We talk about now and moving forward. We're talking about December 9th, 2021, 11:10 p.m. Central Standard Time, Memphis, Tennessee in the building. This is what we're talking about right now. What are the options that Errol Spence has as far as next fights? Now, we know that Errol Spence hasn't fought since December the 5th, eye injury. So it's been out of the ring for a year. Errol Spence himself has said he doesn't need a tune-up. His fans have said he didn't need a tune-up. Now, they were saying that when they thought he was going to fight Ugas. But we see what the WBA did. It is fucked up. The WBA is basically punishing Ordanis Ugas. Well, I think they're punishing Ordanis Ugas because he beat Manny Pacquiao. So Ugas will be tied up in somewhat of a tournament. If I understand it correctly, I'm going to do some more research, but if I understand it correctly, Ugas got to fight at least 2 fights to win, to keep the title. He got to fight 2 guys and beat both of them to keep the title, if I understand correctly. So even if he fights both fights in 6 months. That's negotiations, purse bids, whatever, and all that. That mean Earl Spence wouldn't be able to get Ugas to best case scenario end of the year. That's best case scenario. Now I say all that to say this. Like I said, Spence hasn't fought since December the 5th, 2020. And he holds the IBF and the WBC straps. Now, the IBF says that you got to fight. You got to fight a mandatory challenger every 9 months. WBC says you got to fight a mandatory challenger every 120 days, which is every 3 to 4 months. Now, the thing is, though, just because you're ranked number 1 in the IBF or number 1 in the WBC, that does not guarantee you a mandatory title shot. Let me repeat that. For all the slow coaches that want to say that Terrence Bud Crawford chose the easy route by going the WBO route, let me repeat that for you. Both the IBF and the WBC, in both of those sanctioning bodies, it's not guaranteed if you're number 1 ranked in those sanctioning bodies that you're the mandatory. Now, the champion can fight anyone, I think in the IBF, anybody in the top 10 to be a mandatory challenger. That's anybody in the top 10. So if you're number 1, he can fight number 10 and satisfies mandatory. WBC, fight anyone in the top 10. It could be top 15 if the WBC sanctioning body approves of it. So for all you slow coaches that said Bud took the easy route, so let's say Bud won and got the WBO belt, even though Spence said he'd get a belt. Let's say he didn't go get a belt, even though Thurman said he'd get a belt. Let's say he didn't get the belt. Let's say he became he fought his way up to be the number 1 ranked in the IBF or the WBC or another sanctioning body. There's no guarantee that Spence would have fought him, or Thurman or anybody else, any top PBC fighters would have fought him. Because per the sanctioning bodies, if that sanctioning body says, you know what, you don't have to fight the number 1 ranked contender, you can fight number 5 ranked contender, and it will satisfy your mandatory. Carlos Ocampo. That's how Ocampo got his shot. But I got a little bit off the tracks. So let's get back on. Like I was saying, what options does Spence have? Man is retired. Danny went up to 54. He already beat Danny. Keith Thurman's been inactive. Keith Thurman got a warm-up fight earlier this year. Who else? At 47. Boots Ennis. Ortiz Jr. Anyone else that anybody could think of? So what credible opponent can Spence face at 47? Other than Terrence Bud Crawford that he won't get, that he shouldn't get blasted for. I mean, I guess if we fought Ennis or Ortiz, that might be, but who would give Ennis or Ortiz a chance? Let me take that back. What if Spence gets beat by Ennis or Ortiz? Then what? I hope Spence was watching Teofimo Lopez. Teofimo Lopez fumbled the bag. They can say, well, he beat Comey. He beat Lomachenko. Okay. But he wasn't there yet. Now he lost to Kambosos. Now he's finna go to 140. Now if he was champion and went to 140, then he probably could have got big fights. Now he's gonna have to work his way back up the ladder to get those big fights. So he fumbled the bag. Not saying he can't get it back, but he fumbled the bag. Now Errol Spence is 32 years old. I don't know if he can afford to fumble the bag at this point in time in his career. People act like Errol Spence is 25, 26. Errol Spence will be 32 years old pretty soon. I mean, what, fighters, 35, 36, some 37. So he got what, 3 to 4 years, maybe. 3 to 4 years, maybe. And what is he doing? So I'm gonna need all your Earl Spence stands, fanboys. Call your guy up. Let him know Terrence Crawford like future out here looking for him. He's looking for him. We need this fight. I'm not gonna say need. Boxing, the sport of boxing, it will be good for the sport of boxing. This will be the most hyped fight that I can think about in years. I think it'll be more hyped than Fury versus Wilder. It'll be more hyped than any heavyweight fight has been in the last 20 years, if I think off the top of my head. Yeah, I mean, the only other fight, I mean, it'll be a couple of fights that probably would compare to as far as hypeness, but this will be one of the hypest fights, one of the most built up, one of the most talked about, one of the most anticipated fights, I'll say, in the last 20 years. I could be wrong, but this is a fight boxing needs to see. But I'm gonna get off my soapbox, and we just waiting for Earl Spence to see what he gonna do. Bud looking for you. Answer the call. Or you gonna let your fans come up with other excuses? Well, I'm gonna holler at y'all till next time.